Police Minister Bheki Cele will this morning release the quarterly crime statistics, and they cover the period from April to June of this year. Now, first quarter figures showed a 15% year-on-year increase in both murder and sexual assault. Themba Masango from Not in My Name joins me ahead, of course, of this release. Themba, thank you so much for your time. Good morning to you. I mean, quite concerning to see that an anticipated year-on-year increase on both murder and sexual assault seems to be the norm in South Africa. But with the work you do, is this a reflection? Could the number even be higher?
Good morning, Tumelo, and thank you so much for having us. Indeed, the number could definitely really be higher, because we know that South Africa has actually been unfortunately named as a rape capital of the world. And our femicide rate, which is the killing of women by intimate and unknown partners, is 5.1 times higher than anywhere in the world. So, and these are cases that have been reported. And we know that in far-flung areas, in rural areas, especially as sexual violence is endemic in our country. And it is not, reported by many women because they feel that they're not going to get the assistance that they are looking for.
So with that being said, what is it about law enforcement agencies, the SAPS, our justice system? What is it about those institutions that make it so difficult, for victims of sexual violence, gender-based violence to report? Is it the training? Is it the lack of apathy? Is it the lack of follow-throughs? In your experience, what seems to be the problem?
Well, I think it's a mixture of, both, where the lack of competency, which requires training and sensitivity when it comes to the actual cases that are, brought forward by women from the front desk. You'll hear a lot of times where people are coming in and reporting cases of sexual harassment and so on, and then you'll hear police saying, go and talk about it. This is a family issue, or whatever the case may be, instead of actually taking the case and going out and arresting and sorting it out in a competent court of law. Two, it's also people not trusting the police services anymore, because too many times they have been let down by those who are actually supposed to protect and to serve. And so I would say that there needs to be a specialized unit that focuses on gender-based violence, and it shouldn't be lip service. We've heard the minister saying things like that, but how many police stations do have specialized, centers in there? How many police stations actually have swabs and test kits and rape kits? They've been saying that every police station should have it and will have it for the past 2 years, and none of that has happened. Yeah. And most of all, there needs to be trust that needs to be brought back, into the system, where people can actually know that if I go to a police station, police are going to act on my matter as soon as possible. Not this thing of having a situation where they don't do these things.
Themba, we've seen the presence of the Not in My Name, organization numerous times when it's time for court appearances supporting survivors or victims of gender-based violence. And we've spoken about the issues that you've identified within, law enforcement and the recommendations you make thereof. But let's talk about the perpetrator. In your experience going to these courtrooms and you hear from, the accused or the suspect, do they look, sound remorseful? Is there a sense of arrogance? Just so we can tap in the mind of perpetrators, because we're having this conversation this morning. But of course, we know, you and I, that there will be another GBV case reported immediately after this conversation. So where are perpetrators in this conversation?
No, definitely. And, the unfortunate thing is that these men who perpetuate these violence know that the consequences that come with gender-based violence aren't necessarily as strenuous or as strong. So, and 9 out of 10 times they have a mindset of, being the provider in the family, being the breadwinner and so on. And, you'll hear them even saying that, okay, fine, if you get me arrested, what are you people going to eat here? And that is the mindset that we need to really change. And I think, especially we have to focus on young men, boy children from school-going age, to make them understand that the mindset of misogyny cannot continue, because it is not one that is progressive. It is not one that is actually going to take us anywhere.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is
But
deadly.
yeah, it's deadly. And but most of all is that we need to actually action our laws in terms of perpetrators, so that they can be deterred from acting the way they act. Because if they know that I'm just going to go to court 1 or 2 times and then I'm going to get bail, and maybe the case is going to be dropped and so on, it actually hardens the stance of these guys. So we need to make sure that the courts are stringent. We need to make sure that the cases are dealt venomously and quickly, so that we don't have a situation where people can just act any way they want.
And I appreciate you speaking to us about this, Themba. Thank you so much. This is time that we had with you, but thank you so much for adding your voice ahead of the crime stats expected from Police Minister Bheki Cele. Themba Masango being the Secretary General of the Not In My Name South Africa organization. And quite important, harsher sentences, sending a strong message to perpetrators is the solution to ensure that we deal with the problem also at a young age, so that young boys and young girls from a young age understand, how to carry themselves in society.